Let me tell you, you haven't truly experienced suburbia until a woman in a neon yellow tracksuit tells you to your face that you're filth, that you don't belong here, that you're bringing the whole neighborhood down. And yeah, that happened right there on my third Saturday in my so-called dream home before I'd even finished my first cup of coffee. I was just standing on the front porch, mug in one hand, mail in the other, minding my own business, when she comes barreling over looking like a highlighter that came to life, her voice screeching across the street before I could even remember her name. I just moved in 3 weeks earlier, proud as hell, first house, little patch of green in a tree-lined neighborhood where I figured folks would wave when you drove by. You know, instead, I got blindsided by this lady, eyes narrowed on my lawn like I'd personally offended her ancestors. She let loose, pointing at a stubborn patch of brown grass in the middle of my yard, loud enough for the whole block to hear. It was one of those crispy spots every new homeowner gets. I was going to fix it. I had a busted sprinkler head or so, I figured. But to her, it was a crime against humanity. We have standards in this community. We have an HOA. You people might not be used to having standards, but you'll learn. Or you'll leave. There it was, you people. Didn't take a genius to figure out it was never about the grass. I took a breath, tried to keep it together. I'd saved for years for this place. 2 jobs, cup ramen, the works. I wasn't going to let this woman ruin it for me 3 weeks in. Ma'am, I'm your neighbor. The name's Mike. I promise the grass will be handled. She just smirked like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. We were all just waiting to see how long it'd take for the ghetto to show up. Looks like it didn't take long at all. I'd like to say that was the end of it, but you know better. I tried to brush it off, told myself she was just one of those people. Every block's got one. But those words, you people, stuck with me, poison dart working its way through my morning. Around noon, I got sick of feeling like a villain in my own house, so I grabbed a shovel and went to work on the sprinkler. Sure enough, broken line. I was elbow deep in dirt when I heard a car door slam. There she was again, this time with her son-in-law, built like a CrossFit ad, arms folded, judging from across the street. He walked over, keeping his distance like my lawn was contagious. Having some trouble there? It wasn't a question. I said, "Just a broken sprinkler. I'm fixing it." He gave me this look, then said, "HOA sent a notice about this. You were supposed to have it rectified within 48 hours. That was yesterday. I never got a notice, checked my mail every day. Only thing I got was a welcome packet and a list of trash days." He just shrugged. "Not our fault if you don't check your mail. My mother-in-law's the head of the architectural committee. She takes this stuff seriously. We all do." At that point, it stopped feeling like a random neighbor thing and started feeling like a setup. "I never got your notice, but I'm literally fixing the problem right now. What more do you want?" He just shook his head. "It's about procedure. You can't go digging up your lawn without submitting a landscaping plan. That's another violation." I almost laughed. A landscaping plan to fix a busted pipe. That's when Neon Lady stomped over, voice slicing the air. Rules are rules. They apply to everyone, even if you're not used to having them. I'd had enough. "This is my property. I'm fixing a problem. You're harassing me over a patch of grass. Get off my property." Her face went tomato red, then she whipped out her phone like she was quick drawing at the OK Corral. "You're threatening me. I'm calling the police. I feel unsafe." Next thing I know, she's shrieking into 911 about an aggressive man with a shovel. And suddenly my heart's pounding in a way it shouldn't have to, because I know how this looks. Black man, shovel, angry neighbor. I dropped the shovel, hands up, nobody even there to see it yet. Just muscle memory. Cop showed up 5 minutes later, made a beeline for her while she dabbed at imaginary tears. Her son-in-law hovering, looking smug. The officer finally came over, hand on his holster, voice cold as January. "We got a report you were threatening this woman." I told him, voice shaking. I asked her to leave my property. He said she claimed I was aggressive with a shovel. I was digging a hole, he didn't care. "Put your hands behind your back." That's how I found myself in cuffs, marched off my own lawn, coffee still cooling on the porch. The next hours were a nightmare, holding cell fluorescent lights, the whole routine. My only call was to my sister, a no-nonsense paralegal. She told me to keep my mouth shut and wait. She sent a lawyer, Sarah Young, but fierce eyes, sharp enough to cut glass. I laid it all out for her, every last detail. She listened, got mad, then got to work. This isn't just harassment, Mike. This is a coordinated effort to force you out. We're going to fight back. When I got home on bail, Sarah and I started digging into the HOA. Turns out my neon nemesis wasn't just a busybody. She ran the committee that fined people for brown grass. Major conflict of interest. That same day, a new violation notice showed up, $500 for the grass, $100 more every day. It wasn't fixed. Sarah pointed to the dates. They've been planning this since you moved in. It was never about the grass. They'd wanted me out from day one. We ordered security cameras, set them up everywhere. Didn't take long for the next round to hit fine for my trash cans, animal control at my door, about a vicious dog I didn't own. Every little thing was another shot at wearing me down. One night my camera caught someone in a hoodie sprinkling something on my lawn, caught in grainy black and white, but clear enough to prove sabotage. Sarah filed motions, sent cease and desist letters, but the HOA doubled down. Emergency board meeting me on trial, the neon queen at the center, the whole room stacked against me. Sarah was cool as ice, laid out the timeline, the video, the false reports, showed the camera footage. Board wavered, but my neighbor lost it, screaming for my head. The board caved, hit me with insane fines, told me to resod my lawn or face foreclosure. I was cornered. Sarah said, "We're not playing their game. We dig." That's when Frank the PI found the son-in-law was a developer, made lowball offers on my house, and others, including the previous owners. Motive money. They wanted my property cheap. Then came the bombshell. The arresting cop was the woman's other son-in-law. It was a family racket, the HOA, the developer, the cop, all working together to run people out and scoop up houses. I was just the latest target. My fines soared. I was checking camera feeds every night, waiting for another shoe to drop. George, the neighbor next door, quietly became an ally. He told me the Hendersons, the previous owners, never had a brown patch. Their sprinkler suddenly broke right after I moved in. Sabotage. Then it happened again, a bigger figure in the dark, this time with a chemical canister dousing my whole lawn. The next morning, the place looked scorched. The HOA president showed up, notice in hand, $500 a day, foreclosure in 30 days. But I had it all on camera. This time, Sarah and I skipped the local cops, took it straight to the county DA. The ADA listened, saw the proof, and said, "This is racketeering. We're opening a criminal investigation." The next few weeks were a circus. More fines, more threats. Neighbors staring, news vans camping outside when the DA finally moved. The mugshots of my neon nemesis, her developer son-in-law, and the cop's son-in-law were all over the news. Criminal charges, conspiracy, fraud, property damage. Sarah filed a civil suit for everything they'd done to me, plus the HOA for enabling the whole scam. During discovery, we found the truth. The original HOA board had never been elected, just handed down from the developer to his buddies, including my neighbor and her late husband. Even bigger, the HOA's charter expired years ago, never renewed. Every fine, every rule, all illegal. The whole HOA was a ghost. The DA brought new charges, fraud, extortion, RICO. The final twist. The neighbor wasn't just a busybody. She was the sister of the previous owner. She'd tried to scam the house into her family, failed, and took it out on me, the outsider. She lost everything. I got my home back. The new board was elected. In poetic justice, I was put in charge of the architectural committee. My first act, make the rules about grass fair, not weapons. Sometimes I look out on my perfect green lawn, the one I fought for, and I wonder how many others lost their homes to folks like her, how many never fought back. So tell me what's worse, one bitter neighbor or a whole system rigged to help her win? Drop your thoughts below. Ever tangled with an HOA like this? I want to hear your story, because trust me, you never really know your neighbors until you do. Until